Granbell said that he used to be a hero, yet no matter how you looked at him, he appeared to be nothing more than a dying old man. The luxurious clothes, his sharp eyes. He had an overwhelmingly dominant aura that sent shivers down one's spine, and the charisma of a great leader. Yet, when Yuki looked at Granbell, he could not feel any strength from him that could surpass Mirabelle's. You say you are a hero. You shouldn't joke around like that, you know. Believe it or not, just answer me this. Are you willing to eliminate Demon Lord Rimuru? Haha, you want my help. Doing something that dangerous serves no purpose at all. I wish to maintain my relationship with you fool. Now that Mirabelle has died, we cannot afford to dally. Even if we let the Empire handle everything, all their higher-ups are overly mysterious. Even those merchants you associate with have little to no credibility. Oh. Who's the fool here? Yuki internally mocked. Unlike Granbell, Yuki never placed humanity as his priority. He didn't mind what human society became as long as he gained everything he desired in the end. There was something bothering him, however, and that was the secret treasure Granbell mentioned. It appeared that he intended to use this to defeat Demon Lord Rimuru. It piqued Yuki's interest, and he wanted to know what it was. Granbell didn't care about what Yuki was thinking, and continued to try to rope Yuki in further. I'm not asking you to believe me, but we can form a temporary alliance and fight together. I'll be honest with you, what's in it for me? I can give you Luminous Sama's secret treasure. And the treasure is the ultimate weapon that was used to seal the door. This revelation came all too suddenly, and Yuki couldn't just ignore it. From what I've gathered, that person is known as the strongest hero. I never had the opportunity to make direct contact. However, the person is being protected by Luminous Sama in the Holy Ark. A demon lord protecting a hero. What kind of a joke is that? Guhaha, don't be so quick to judge. I was confused at first, but every few hundred years a great war would occur, and I personally witnessed that person in action, a supreme existence capable of eliminating all monsters. Is this person stronger than you at your prime? I was nowhere near it. He sounded genuine. Yuki thought himself as pretty talented at seeing through lies and knew that Granbell spoke the truth. Moreover, he also had a hypothesis as to why this particular hero left Shizuozawa behind. That hero is probably restricted by something. Maybe a limited lifespan. No, the reason doesn't matter. If I can take the Holy Ark from Luminous, I could control the strongest pawn. Granbell's mention of this ultimate weapon implied that the hero was under the control of Luminous. Thus, Luminous must have used some sort of spell to control the hero. If that was the case, then if Yuki could crack the spell. How interesting, but I'm not naive enough to take your word for it. I thought as much. I have a proposal. I shall lead the attack and create a distraction inside the Grand Cathedral. It will probably plunge Luminous Sama's headquarters into chaos, which gives you an opportunity to steal the Holy Ark. This was quite an attractive proposal. However, it was way too beneficial for Yuki, which made it suspicious. What do you get out of it then? Isn't Demon Lord Luminous your master? Are you willing to avenge Mirabelle even at the cost of betraying Luminous? He asked doubtfully. Granbell gave his response with a chilling look on his face. Of course. I used to be on good terms with Luminous Sama, but now she has abandoned me. At the end of the day, our relationship was only maintained because of her agreement with me to never antagonize humanity. If she is to collaborate with Demon Lord Rimuru, then Luminous Sama, no, Demon Lord Luminous is nothing more than my enemy. There was a sense of animosity in his words. Even Yuki felt that. His resolve was quite impressive. And here I thought he was just a dying old man, but turns out he is still useful. This proposal may be pretty decent after all. With that thought in his mind, Yuki began to analyze the situation. The condition for this to work was that Granbell had to strike first. Therefore, Yuki could immediately confirm if Granbell had held up his end of the bargain before acting. As a result, there was little chance of being betrayed. On top of that, he would gain access to the strongest pawn in existence. If Granbell had lied, Yuki had no reason to commit himself to this operation. He could just flee right away. The worst-case scenario was that Granbell planned to deceive Yuki and his men and frame them. But, as long as they had eyes on the battle started by Granbell, they could tell if it was real or fake. If they couldn't even tell whether Granbell was really fighting or not, then they only had themselves to blame. Interesting, this all sounds very interesting. I still have some doubts, but considering the gains from this, I suppose it's fine to take some risks. Guhaha, I knew you'd agree. This is a temporary alliance, and likely our last act together as well. Can I expect you to put in some work? Of course. Since you've made all these grand plans for us, I shall give you some trust. What do you intend to do to start this operation? Well, about that. The two began to discuss the plan in detail. And so, the old man controlling the Western nations and imagine attempting to rule the world, forged an alliance. In the Grand Cathedral, a battle with the full force of the Rosso family would take place. This plan included the agents of the Foreign Intelligence Agency of Siltrasso and the surviving members of Blood Shadow. Among them were many other worlders summoned by the Rosso family. Moreover, Razel would be recalled from the northern border as well. I am curious how strong they will be when all of the Rossos move out. Kigali muttered to herself with an evil grin. Everyone present wondered the same thing. Then, Yuki-sama, do you know where this holy ark is hidden? Granbell has already given me comprehensive information about it. But considering that he may be deceiving us, we have to be cautious. I'll take the honor. Although I ain't too sure about doing this one alone, can I bring Tyr and Footman along? Asked Lapis. Well, I want to say yes, I have another job for Tyr. Alright, Footman alone should be enough, but what do you want to do with Tyr? She has the most important job this time. By the way, avoid fighting as much as possible. Prioritize the goal of our visit. Yuki reminded everyone. Since there is a possibility that it's a trap, you must retreat immediately upon encountering danger, Kigali added, like a concerned mother fussing over her children. We ain't kids, you know. We got the covered already, Lapis replied, full of confidence. Footman silently nodded along, agreeing with Lapis. That's the spirit. Demon Lord Luminous is Demon Lord Valentine's master. Since Valentine's power could rival mine, Lumina's strength goes without saying. She's probably stronger than I was during my prime. Do you have a rough idea now, Lapis? Our primary goal isn't to steal the Holy Ark, but to gather as much information as possible with the least amount of risk. Don't you worry. We don't owe that all-man Granbell anything. He never hired to motivate clown troop either, so we'll just do our best within our abilities. You have a point. I'll be at your aid as well this time. After all, this Holy Ark is what Granbell considered the weapon for the final battle. After Kigali shared her concerns, Lapis and Yuki quickly reassured her. You don't have faith in us. That hurts a bit. No, that's not what I mean. It's only natural for the place to be highly guarded and secured with traps. I'm only doing this to be certain. While Yuki had confidence in Lapis and the others, he had no idea what could happen this time. If he didn't strategize appropriately, the entire plan would fail. That he could not accept. I will secretly trail behind everyone. The operation shall commence at your own pace. I see, so we are supposed to stall the enemies. That's quite smart. Worst case scenario, you guys escape in the midst of chaos while I grab the objective. At that, Yuki cracked a smile. The plan was flawless. He had discussed it with Granbell several times, and confirmed that Granbell was indeed serious. This was an opportunity of a lifetime, and they wouldn't get something like this again in the future. No matter the cost, we must get our hands on this Holy Ark, Yuki thought decisively. By the way, is this thing really that good? What even is this Holy Ark? Lapis questioned, somewhat dubious. I heard it contains the hero, the one that sealed the door. She's under the control of Luminous, so I plan to analyze the spell on the Ark, and make her my pawn. It can't be, is this real? Hey, what is this all about? Haha. Yuki's next comment stupefied his audience. This prize is immeasurably valuable. Now that we have settled on moving to the east, I shall figure out the secret to dominating the ultimate hero. Now understanding just how valuable the Holy Ark was, they were all excited. Misha received orders to prepare for their move to the eastern headquarters, yet even she was flustered at the news. This was to be expected. If they could control that hero, the individual strong enough to seal a true dragon, the strongest species in the world, Cerberus and Yuki's ambition world domination would no longer be a far-fetched fantasy. No wonder boss is still cautious, Lapis mumbled. Indeed, if that's the case, please allow me to join you in researching the matter. Haha, you are getting ahead of yourself, Kigali. It's dangerous to believe everything Granbell says, even if I personally think it has decent enough credibility. Anyhow, failure is not tolerated. Kigali was confident in herself. Yuki-sama can rest assured. Don't you guys drag him down now. Gotcha. Haha, just leave it to me. Lapis and Footman knew the full weight of their duty and became motivated. Seeing the two in this eager state, Yuki felt very satisfied. He then turned to Tyr. Now, Tyr. I didn't expect Demon Lord Leon to join in on the matter, but it'd be rude of us to not welcome him with a warm gift. Due to Leon's involvement, Yuki made additional plans to account for this factor. Had Leon not moved out, they would have only observed the situation and made minor contributions to the fight. But now that Leon was heading to the Holy Land too, the battlefield would be chaotic. That was undeniable. Since we lured Leon in, we must make him think that the Rossos are using Cerberus as well. This way, we can misguide them into thinking that we are trustworthy. And we should go and give Demon Lord Remure the impression that Leon is a cruel tyrant that wanted to capture the children. Yep. For that to work, I need the kids that were meant to be given to Demon Lord Leon. So you want me to handle that? Correct. Although you will have to use your real identity. If it's you, I'm sure you won't mess it up. I got it. I'll throw Demon Lord Rimuru off with my excellent acting skills. Tyr was exceptionally enthusiastic, yet Yuki shook his head dismissively. I'll be looking forward to it, but that alone won't be enough. Demon Lord Rimuru is extremely calculating, and he has abnormally sharp instincts. He might realize that we were behind all this. That's why I've discussed with Granbell beforehand. Yuki lowered his voice and gave Tyr her orders. The Majin's malice grew day by day. The day of destiny was closing in. Not a single shred of light illuminated the room. Deep within it. Obviously, I need to eliminate Demon Lord Rimuru, and Demon Lord Leon, and Luminous Sama too. Granbell muttered to himself. His eyes darkened, filled with bottomless hatred. Granbell dedicated over 1,000 years of his life to humanity. Even though his goal in life had changed, aiming to become the ruling class and gain absolute power and domination, Granbell still wished for peace to human society. His resolve was unquestionable. Over time, he had to endure countless betrayals, the deaths of his companions that supported him and endless suffering. But despite everything, Granbell's tenacity enabled him to overcome every single challenge he had faced, in order to protect humanity in this world. While he had Demon Lord Lumina's aid, Granbell's own effort was irreplaceable. In the distant past, he used to talk about dreams and ideals with his companions, making promises with the people that gradually passed on to the other world. With the help of his family, Mariabell was born. He was just one more step away from accomplishing his dream. Even then, Granbell had lost hope. The East and the West. Humankind needed to stand united against the Demon Lords, or else humanity would not survive. Nowadays, the Demon Lords had formed the Octagram, and their power was at its prime. Although the 10 great Demon Lords were reduced to 8, their power hadn't diminished, but rather increased instead. The demons let loose by the Lord of Darkness Geek Crimson plundered the northern lands like it was their playground. Continent's Wrath Daggerul had his eyes set on human society as well, because of his ambition for territorial expansion. As of yet, he had avoided conflict with the Queen of Nightmares, and did not act against her. However, it was unknown how much longer he could tolerate it. In addition, power beyond human comprehension was intervening within the Eastern Empire. Granbell suspected that it was the doing of the sleeping ruler behind the scenes, but he had no evidence to back it up. Facing against all these powerful beings, Granbell needed to protect humanity from harm. Yet this wish of his was also. That brat had some boring goal too. He could take the reins if he wants. I am already tired. Granbell didn't know how much longer he would live either. Now that Mariabell had died, there was no one qualified enough to take on the role of Granbell's successor. Without a mediator, humanity would soon walk the path of destruction. They would show their true nature and desires, even beginning to slaughter each other. That was simply how humans were as a species. A long, long time ago, Granbell's wife, whom Mariabell resembled a lot, was killed by these kinds of people. All for the sake of the children who survived. Granbell suffered his pains and sorrows alone this entire time, yet his life was about to come to an end. This world has taken everything from me, it is best that it falls. His quiet but passionate words were genuine. This was Granbell's heart speaking without a single false pretense. He had already been consumed by insanity. And so, he had made up his mind. Granbell had gone mad.